back to part 2 of how to make your own grow lamp. Last episode I made a small test circuit with a few LEDs in it, and it worked relatively okay. However, it's a lot of work to go to, and if you imagine, say you had to solder 1,000 LEDs on a piece, a piece like that's, I don't know, 1/2 meter by 1/2 meter or whatever, it's going to take you hours and hours and hours. So what I've done is I purchased these LED reels. These come in all shapes, sizes, colours, voltages, wattages, amperage, whatever. I managed to get 4 reels, that's 2 red and 2 blue, and they were under £7 for all of them put together. And that's what I'm going to use. I've got my duckweed in a fish tank, and that's what I need the grow lamp for at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the width and the length of the actual fish tank, and I'm going to get a piece of wood of, well, just a little bit bigger, and I'm going to mark out where I want to put these LED strips. These actually come with a sticky back, but it's no good. You need to stick it with something else as well. It will hold it for a little while. I've actually got these lights underneath my kitchen cabinets, and that's actually stuck really well. But it depends what you're trying to stick them to on whether they'll stay, and depends what, how cheap you've spent on how well they'll stick as well normally. So I'll probably end up using a bit of super glue for that. But I'll talk you through the whole process, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section. But let's get on, shall we? Okay, so these light strips are pretty straightforward. This one, for example, is red. It's got surface mount LEDs. It's 5 meters long, and it holds 60 LEDs. Now let me get that really close to the camera. Come on, camera, you can do it. There we go. These ones come with a female socket. I don't have the plug to go with it, so I've got myself some crop clips and a 12-volt supply, which is from a car battery. They're often quite well labelled, and on these, if you have a look here, let me zoom you in, they have 12 volts and a negative, and you'll also notice a little scissor mark. Now I'll quickly talk you through that. That little scissor mark is every 3 LEDs, 1, 2, 3, scissor mark, and so on. What that means is you can cut that every 3rd set of LEDs, and it will work just like it did before. So we can cut this as long as it's divisible by 3. So say if we want a set of, say, 15 LEDs, count them along, cut. If you want 16 or 17 or whatever, you're just going to have to go either a few less or a few more, either way. Anyway, so these here are the pads, and as I say, this side is the positive and this side is the negative. So I'll plug them in now. So negative to negative, positive to positive, and turn it on. And there we go. Let's just turn off a few of these lights. And that's our LEDs, and as I say, we can cut them at every 3rd, and this is what's going to power our grow lamp. We've all, as I say, got blue ones as well. I'm going to have these stuck on a board that I need to measure out and mark off, so I'll show you that next. Okay, so this is the board I'm going to be using for my grow lamp. I measured the fish tank, and it is 60 centimeters long. Let's let it start to work out where we are. It doesn't like that for some reason. Okay, so it's 60 centimeters long by 30 centimeters wide, and then I took about a centimeter on each side in, and then this is our area. Now I know that this is 29 centimeters, and I didn't work out this length, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure perhaps a centimeter. No, I'll have a look, I'll work that out, and then I'm going to draw some nice thick black lines, and that's where we're going to stick our LEDs. And this way is so straightforward. I'll talk you through it every step of the way. So I'm going to mark out where we're going to stick our LEDs first. Okay, so here are my lines. I've done 10 lines an inch apart. The inch apart is purely arbitrary, it just works to make an even pattern. By the way, I've left my pen there so that the autofocus doesn't keep going mental. And I've also done a lot of research into the ratios of blue and red LEDs. Now, they do say to use multiple coloured LEDs nowadays. I don't have multiple colours, as I say. I don't buy stuff often, and when I do, I get it cheap, and so on and so on. And the red and the blue were the only ones I really wanted at the time. I bought them from China, so it's been quite a while in the post and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 6:4 ratio of red to blue. So I'm going to actually, because I've got 10 lines, I'm going to do 6 red and 4 blue, which will be the easiest for me, I think. So what I need to do now is work out which one's going to be red, which one's going to be blue, to make it look pretty. No, to, you know, make it so that there's red and blue hitting all of the areas. Okay, so I've worked it out. It's going to be red on this line, blue, red, blue, red, red, blue, red, blue, and then red. So it'll end up with 2 reds in the middle, and then the rest are evenly distributed. So now let's look at how we're going to stick these down and how many will fit in this area. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting off this here, and I'm going to cut it off at the first junction. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. And luckily, by pure and utter fluke, let me see if I can zoom out. No, by pure and utter chance, these actually fit exactly from one place to another. So let's cut this off just there. Okay, so now what I need to do is I just need to cut a whole section more of them, each of their colours. What I might do is do all of the red now, so I don't get confused. Right, one thing I'd like to warn you of, I got a bit excited and look what I did. I've cut it off and there's only tiny amounts of stuff for me to solder onto there, so just be warned, don't go mental, just take it slow and steady. Okay, so that's all 6 of them cut, and what I've decided to do is stick them down just with the adhesive tape that they come with, and then I'm going to use some other tape to go on top, like along all of them. So for example, if I've got them stuck like this, then across where these connections are, I'll just put a bit of thin tape just to hold it to the board, because in case I make any mistakes or I need to redo something or change something, if I've super glued them down, then I'm pretty stuck. So they are literally just like sticking any stickers onto anything. Find an edge, take about 45 minutes to peel it off. There you go. And there's the connections underneath. Let me zoom you in on that a sec. But there's the connector, all the circuitry underneath. Now, making sure you're on the right place and you're not going to stick this in the wrong place, take it, put it right at the edge. Am I going to put it on the lines or below the lines? On the line. Just take it slowly. And I genuinely mean this. Every single place, make sure you push and stick it down as you go along, because otherwise you'll end up with little lumps and they're a pain that you can't get rid of them basically. Okay, 1 down. Okay, so there's all the red ones done. Now the exact same thing with the blue. Okay, and that's pretty much it. All we need to do now is solder the ends together, so I'll show you how to do that next. One thing I didn't think about at all while I was doing it, which will make my life a little bit more difficult, is I've literally let them go left, right, doesn't matter which way. So for example, I've got positive up this one, negative, then positive, then negative, positive, positive, negative, and so on. So they're all a bit higgledy-piggledy. It's not a problem, and I can deal around it, but I advise when you guys do it to make sure you've got them so it goes positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative all the way along. That way it's less likely that you'll make any sort of mistakes. Just thought I'd tell you before you started. On this one here, I got a bit too over the top excited and I cut it far too close. What I've done is I've scratched away a little bit more of the plastic, and there we go, I've uncovered a lot more of a pad to use now. So let's get tinning these, shall we? Tinning just means coating the tips of it with a little bit of solder. Now, as you can imagine, because these are mainly plastic, they are hugely heat sensitive. So you don't want to be on the pad any longer than necessary. And the next lot. Okay, so they're all tinned now, and now what I want to do is connect them all in parallel, on purpose this time. If you've seen my last video, you'll understand why I'm saying that. If you haven't and you want to giggle, I'll put a link to it there. Okay, so now it's the fun job of connecting these together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect one negative and positive to the next negative and positive like that, and I'm going to do that all the way down this side, and then I'll show you what I'm doing next. I'm going to start at this end. So what you need to do, because I've tinned the ends of these wires, I'm sorry that the light's so bad, I can't do anything about that today. I've tinned the end of the wires, and what I'm going to do, place them above, well, on each of the pre-tinned bits and melt them down. 1, 2, 3, sorted. Lift this one up. 3, done. Okay, so that one's done. Now I'm just going to jump straight across to one away and do this one. So separate these slightly. And on top, and heat it up. 1, 2, 3, and done. Same with this one. And again, jump up 1. Now remember, because I've done all mine not necessarily the right negative or positive, I'm having to be very wary about which ones I connect to what. Move up 1. Right, this wire wasn't tinned properly, so I'm having a bit more issue with it. Now I had noticed already that this was starting to come up. It's not even been stuck down for 10 minutes and it's already starting to unstick, so I definitely will have to stick it with something else in a bit. Just noticed another one that wasn't tinned properly. Lazy tinmanship. Okay, and okay, now this is the difficult bit, because they're only stuck down. What I need to do now is take the positive end of this one and move it over to the positive end of this one and solder it down like that without pulling up the last one. So let's just do our best. I think we're going to have to do some left-handed soldering today. No, that's not going to work. This is very fiddly, but it shouldn't take too long, and if you do them around the right way and everything at the beginning, then it should be less hassle than I'm making it look now. And once I've stuck all these down, I'm going to actually get some gaffer tape and stick it along here anyway. So now this one needs to be pulled back on itself because I wired it up the wrong way around. So let's get a bit more solder on that. Now I just added some more solder to the negative, So I'm going to go and try and stick the positive next, because I don't want to overheat the pad, so leaving a little bit of time in between is the best course of action if possible. Right, and if something's a bit too close to anything, I just give it a little snip off. Some of these are quite tricky, but it's purely because of my stupidity and getting them, not sticking them all the same way around. And the last one on this side, just stabbed myself with it, what a div. Let's get a bit more on that one. Okay, so that's that side done. Now the next job for me is to test them before I do any more. Make sure all the connections are sound and beautiful. So now I've got to connect all of the ends in between these. So I now need to connect this end to this end and so on. So basically it becomes one big circuit. So I don't have to do each individual. If you noticed, if I connect to this and this one, then it will light these two up because they're connected at the other end. But now I need to connect this to this, and then that will mean I'll connect one end and it will do all four, and so on down it. So start off with this one. And now we skip to this one here. So again, it's just in between one. Is that correct? Yes. So I need to connect to here. This one, it's connected fine, but it just doesn't look neat enough. And although it's not about the neatness, if I don't think it looks neat, often it's not a good enough connection. There you go. Skip one to here. I'm saying that more for my benefit than yours, really. Okay, and the very last contact to connect all these together. And that's it done. Quickly, let's test it. One, two, three. Perfect. Okay, we'll wire up the rest in a bit. Now, in a previous video I completely ran out of glue gun sticks. I still haven't got any, unfortunately, or I would glue gun each one of these places as well, but as I say, I don't. Right, next job for me is I'm going to attach a piece of wire to this bit here. This will be going to the power source. Okay, and that's stuck. Now, like I said, I'm going to get some gaffer tape and I'm going to gaffer tape all along here so they're all stuck down solid. So that'll be my next bit. Okay, so there it's finished. All I've done is I've stuck gaffer tape around the edge and I've got insulation tape running along the middle just to give it a bit more help sticking these down if needs be. And insulation tape's decent for heat transfer and so on. Well, it can resist quite high heat, so that should be fine if they do heat up. And also I've stuck down the wire coming around here, stuck it down again just to make sure it's a lot harder to accidentally pull it out. I could quite easily have drilled a hole through and then tied a knot to stop it being pulled. And then I also added some banana jacks to it because my power pack, my bench power supply, has banana jacks. Well, I built in banana jacks for it so that I could have multiple things. So I'm going to go set this up and then I'll show you what it looks like. So this is my power pack, and these various things turn on and off various lights. Then we've got two 12-volt terminal bars, 10 volts, 5 volts, and then this is negative, obviously, 12 volts and 5 volts, and it's on and off, and that's made out of an old power, an old computer power supply. So let's plug this in. And turn it on. At the moment they're being held up by crop clips, well, by clips because it's holding the paper barrier on, but I'll sort all that out now and set it up ready. Well, let's see how that gets on. Okay, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, if you have any ideas for projects that you'd like me to do, please get in touch. Also leaving it in the comment section or whatever. I've got a lot of projects still up and coming, so I'm not running out of them, but I would like to know what you guys would like to see, because I think I've got 33 projects that I'm working on at the moment, and various other ones that need to be worked on, you know, need to get started. But as I say, I'd like to just know what you guys would like to see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.